guys. This video is for one of my viewers, dear Tony, with some numbers at the end of his name. Can't remember them right now, but this video is about the software and hardware I use to record my tracks, mainly my bass tracks. Which we specifically asked for, but I'll just go over everything real fast for you guys. I'm gonna start with the hardware, and don't mind the crappy audio because this is a digital camera I'm recording from. It'll get a lot better once I get to the software portion of the video. But basically, here is my bass guitar that I've been using lately for my videos. This is a Squier classic vibe jazz bass. It's a nice bass, I like it. Wasn't too expensive, around $400. Has really nice pickups, sounds really good. Here's the guitar I use, or I have been using recently. Also a Squier Telecaster. It's also a really good guitar. I don't have any like top-notch Fenders or anything else like that, but it's pretty good. It does what it's got to do. And with a little tweaking of the software, I can make it sound like a Fender, so I mean, just as good. So, and I'll show you guys all that in a little bit. Here is my other bass, my old one that I haven't been using as often, but still a great bass. It's a Rogue bass. It's really nice because it's really light. It's like 5 pounds or something. It's a really light bass. And the only thing I have to do with it is mod the pickups because they're pretty crappy pickups, but I put the Seymour Duncans in there, 1/4 pound pickups. They're really nice. Same ones that Mark Hoppus uses. Really good pickups. This is my Jasmine acoustic guitar by Tackman. You guys haven't really seen much of that in the videos. And one more piece of hardware I use. This is my, you guys can't really see it. This is my Axiom 25 MIDI controller. I use this for a lot of the AVA covers and stuff. Not really so much for the Blink, but I do my synths on here, my piano, stuff like that. It's really nice. I got it for I think it was around $100 on eBay. No, it's probably less than $100 on eBay actually. I got it used. It's a really nice MIDI controller. And here we have the main I don't know which one, whatever. This is probably the most important piece of the whole thing. This is the Line 6 GX pod. Comes with Pod Farm, which is a VST plugin, and I'll show you guys on that in the software portion. But basically, this is how I plug my guitars into my computer. I plug it in with a 1/4 inch jack. But this goes into my guitar, and then it plugs into my computer via USB, which is really convenient. You don't need to plug this into like a mixer. You don't need to plug your guitar into a mixer and then all that stuff. Even though you'd probably get better quality with that and more variety with your sounds, but this is good for my covers and whatever, and demos and stuff like that. Right here I have my Blue Yeti remote. What the hell? My Blue Yeti microphone. Looks like R2-D2. It's pretty awesome. I used to use this to record my bass with my amp, which I have over there in the corner with a bunch of crap on it. Not so much anymore. Since I have the pod now, I just use the pod. But this is a really good mic. I liked it. I believe this was around $100. Also a very good mic. So yeah, that's basically what I use for. That's the hardware I use, and of course my computer. I just recently got this. Oh, someone's calling me on Skype. Just ignore that for now. Bye bye. This is a Dell Inspiration with the i5 processor. That's a pretty nice graphics card too. But yeah, it's really good for my music stuff. What I'm doing now. No more nasty. I used to use that Asus over there. Really terrible computer. A bunch of nasty popping and cracking every time I recorded. Had more than like 6 tracks laid out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the hardware. And in the next portion of the video, I'll show you guys the software that I use and how I mix my tracks. Not in detail, but I'll show you guys, some of the VST plugins I use and some things I use to make my bass tracks sound presentable. Alright guys, in this portion of the video I'm going to show you guys the different programs I use to record my covers and the different plugins and VSTs I use to get my sounds. So first I'm going to start with PodFarm. Before I probably need to plug this in first. Okay, so I'm starting with PodFarm. I might have to reopen this in a second. Alright, so PodFarm 2. This is the plugin I use for my guitars and most of my effects. I don't really use this plugin for bass amps because I don't really like how they sound. They're kind of muddy. They don't have a lot of variety. You can mess around with them and actually get them to sound good. I did have a couple settings that actually sounded decent, but for the most part I don't use this for my bass. I use this for all my guitars though. I have it comes with a bunch of amps. I actually have an expansion pack, that's why I have all these amps, but it comes with a lot of amps already, so you don't even need to buy any really. So yeah, this is all the amps it comes with. Here are the bass amps. Not very many bass amps. It also comes with, sorry, that's my phone. It also comes with a bunch of preamps, cabinets, has distortions, has dynamics, which is like your compressors and de-essers and noise gates and stuff like that. Filters, don't really use these at all. It's a bunch of like, just makes your guitar sound really weird, to be honest with you. I'd never use these on my guitar. Then you have your modulation, like your chorus, your flangers, stuff like that. You have your delays, echoes, all that stuff. Reverbs, the auto wah pedals, which are pretty crappy. There's never use those, and this EQ I never use it. But for the most part, I use almost all this stuff for my recordings, for my guitar tracks. And I'm not going to go into the specifics of this program. It has a lot of neat things you can do. You can change the mics, you can change the distance of the room, and all that good stuff. You can probably look up PodFarm on YouTube to get more details on that, and all the cool little perks it has. This is the program I use for my. This is the program I actually record into. It's Cubase 5. It's a great program. I have a sample I'll show you guys right now. It's a great recording program. I have been using this for probably about a year or so. It's the only program I've used to record besides one other program, and I cannot remember the name of it right now. It's like Mixcraft. There you go. That's what it was called, Mixcraft. And I did use that for a while, but then I switched over to Cubase because I don't know. I felt Mixcraft is it's really good if you're just starting out. But I feel like Cubase has a lot more variety, a lot more things you can do a lot more things with Cubase that you probably can't with Mixcraft. Mixcraft's a lot simpler, but it's still pretty good. So if you want to start out with Mixcraft and you like it, you can do that, and it's a really good software too. But this is software I use. This is my basic layout for my tracks. Here I have my mono track setup. I think it's like 6 mono tracks and 3 stereo tracks. Usually I record everything in mono, so all my guitars, bass, everything goes here, and then my tracks. That was kind of loud. My other tracks are here. The ones that I cover over go in the stereo tracks. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, the tracks that I record over go in the stereo tracks, and I tweak them a little bit so they're not so loud, and then I my guitar tracks dominate the mix. So yeah, here's the program that I use for my amp. It's called Ampeg SVX. Great program. It's an Ampeg emulator, and this is by far probably my favorite program for bass. I never really tried Guitar Rig for bass, so I can't tell you how good it is compared to like Guitar Rig. Because Guitar Rig's pretty top notch, but it's a great program. I like it a lot, it's really customizable. You have all your EQ options. You have different types of amps you can choose from. Right here, it's like 4 different types of amps, and it comes with presets, which I don't really use because when I'm trying to get the sound I want, I don't like using presets. But it's really good if you want to try and emulate another bass player that uses Ampeg, like let's say Mark Hoppus or any other bass. There's a bunch of, like, especially if you're doing like, you know, punk rock, pop punk, stuff like that. A lot of them use Ampeg, so it's a really good VST to use if you're doing that kind of stuff. Just gonna show you guys some features. Here's your amp, basically your EQ, blah blah. You know, your basic stuff. You have your stomp boxes here, and I don't really use these because I use effects from PodFarm. But I actually do like this delay, but I don't really use it because you don't really need a delay on a bass unless you're doing some like weird space rock kind of stuff. But it's nice to experiment with, and you can put pedals in all of these. Here's your tuner, basic tuner. It's really good. I like it. It's I use this one sometimes, and I use the PodFarm one sometimes. They both do their job. You know, it's just a tuner, nothing fancy. Here you have your cab. What's really cool about this is that you have a lot of options on your cab. You can change your mic. You can change. There's a bunch of different mics. You can change the axis, if it's on or off axis. You can change how close and far it is. Change the ambience. I don't really use this because I use reverbs, but if you don't have you don't want to use a reverb, or you want to experiment a little bit, you can change the ambience. Obviously, you have different types of amps. And then you can even remove the grill, which is pretty cool. So it's a lot of different things you can do here to change your sound. So it's really nice in that perspective. That's pretty much it for that plugin. The rest of this stuff that I have laid out here is PodFarm effects. This is an overdrive pedal, which I bypassed it on this track. I didn't use it. This is a reverb, and here, this is, before I get to this program, I'm gonna play this back for you guys just so you guys can hear how it sounds. You're not gonna be able to hear it through the speakers because Windows 8 doesn't have a stereo mix, so I can't record my mic and the speakers at the same time. But you guys will hear it through the mic, and then I'm gonna mix it down, and you guys will hear the final mix down track at the end of the video. So let me just play it back through the mic really fast. So yeah, that's what it sounds like now after, like, with all these effects on it and stuff. Now this program is probably one of the most important programs I use. It's called Ozone Isotope 5. This is basically what I use to mix my tracks, and I use it to master my my master track at the end of after everything's mixed down. I open a mastering tab and I master everything. Do a little bit of EQ tweaking just to clean up the mix. So yeah, this is what I use for that. I'm not going to go into details. Like you can see, there's a bunch of different things you can do with this program, but I'm just going to touch on two reasons why this program is really awesome. The first one being this EQ. It's the reason I love this EQ is because what you can do is something called mid-side EQing, and what you can do is, if you want, let's say you want to tighten up your bass in the middle of your track. You want to tighten up the bass because that's where you want your bass. You want in the middle of your track. You want to be punchy and in the middle of your track, not so much to the sides. So what you want to do is you click the mid option, and you can EQ the middle of your track without affecting the rest of your track. So you can boost the mids, or sorry, you can boost the lows in the middle of your track, and then it won't affect your sides. And then you can go to your sides. You can EQ the sides. You can cut low shelf from the sides, and it won't affect the mid of your track, which is really nice. You can isolate different parts of the track and work on them separately, and it helps you get a really nice sound. The other thing you have here is this is the dynamics tab, basically your compressors and all that. And what's really nice about this is this bar up here. What you can do with this is you can actually solo out frequencies in your track, and you can edit them separately. So right now I've soloed out the lower frequency in the track, and let me play this back for you. So as you can see, this is a lower frequency. It doesn't have any mid, no brightness to it, basically. This is now I'm soloing out only the mid frequency of the track, and I'll play this back for you. And that's where all the brightness is, basically. And when you play them both together, and this is really nice because you can solo it. You can, using these tabs here, you can compress it, and you can change the dynamics however you want in this frequency, and then you just move over to the next frequency and solo it, do the same thing. So that's really nice. That's a really nice thing to be able to do, to isolate different frequencies and be able to work on them separately. And if you're getting used to this, or you want something quick, you have all these presets here, which are really they're pretty good presets. I've used them a couple of times, when I'm on the run, but sometimes, either that or I'll do it myself. But they're good presets. They're accurate. And if you want, you can start off from a preset and work up, and then fix it up however you want. So that's pretty nice too. So that's pretty much for Ozone. I think that's pretty much it. Those are all the VSTs I use. There is actually one more. I'll load it up for you guys now. If I even have it, which I don't think I have it here. Nope, I don't. Okay, I'll have to show it to you guys in the other program. But this is the crux of what's going on when I'm recording my stuff. This is pretty much what I use, and this is how I get my sounds. I'm gonna show you guys one more VST that I use for mainly my. I don't use this program for my covers on this channel. I actually use FL Studios for my electronic channel, electronic music channel, and I'll link that in the description if you guys are into that stuff. You want to check it out. But I use one plugin from here. This is my favorite plugin to use. I have other ones, but this is the main one I use. It's called Nexus 2, and I use this for my pianos and my synths, mainly my AVA covers, not so much for the Blink. But yeah, these are the. You got a bunch of different, like, I'll show you guys some pads. Or if you want something a little bit more mellow. And it also has really nice pianos for a lot of AVA stuff. So that's also really nice. It's a really great plugin. Probably one of the best plugins for that kind of to get that kind of sound. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the plugins I use for my recordings. For my actual video editing, I use Vegas Pro. I don't do anything fancy with it. It does what the program's good. I get what I need to do done. So that's I don't do anything fancy for it. So if you're doing covers and stuff like that, I would recommend it. If you're doing like more in-depth video stuff, I don't know if you'd want to use it. I've heard a lot of complaints, but for what I do, it's good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the programs I use. If you guys have any questions, just leave a comment or send me a message, and I'll respond with another video, or just respond to your message through text or whatever. So yeah, I hope you guys found this helpful, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks.